he's claiming to be king, that's a rebellion. And that's punishable by death. So they brought this charge against him. And this is all going on, right? So they take him to the Pilate, which is a governor at that time, Roman governor, and Pilate starts asking him questions. And he comes out where all the Jews are standing. He comes out and says, look, I find no fault with this man. I don't find any fault with this man. The Jews are standing down below. He said, look, we want you to crucify him. He said, look, I'll make a deal with you. Pontius Pilate is telling the Jews, I'll make a deal with you. I will release him. I will release him, and I'll keep another prisoner called Barabbas. You take a pick. What do you want to do? He said, we want you to release Barabbas and crucify Jesus. And if you don't crucify him, we'll tell Caesar you're no friend of his. So they're insisting, crucify him, this one. So Pontius Pilate had no choice but to do that to him. Okay? Now,
what religion was
they're pagans, right? They were. Pontius Pilate was a Roman governor at that time.
But how was he controlled by the Jews?
He was not controlled by the Jews. Palestine has been conquered by the Romans, right? And they appointed Pontius Pilate as the governor of Palestine. Jews were a minority that were under him. The Romans allowed them to have the temples and the religion and give them free religion. But technically, they were still under Roman rule. There were insurrections that goes on, and Jews somehow never liked the Romans. But these things were going on. So Romans were like really leery. They were a little jumpy. Because if Caesar hears there's insurrections going on, he'll kill me. So Pontius Pilate wanted to let's crush that rebellion is right there and then. So that's why they brought the charge against Jesus that he's claiming to be the king of Jews. So they'll implicate him as a rebellious individual. So that's what happened. It's the whole story. I'm just giving you a condensed version of all that.
Okay, 5 minutes.
5 minutes, Darsan? Okay, so shall we stop and
So
do you guys
need some time for Q&A.
Yeah, we want
a couple of
do you guys have any questions maybe? Nothing?
For next week's question,
Yeah, so
That's not even a question.
Yeah.
That's a question the atheist brings.
Yeah. So tomorrow, that's tomorrow.
Right. Yeah.
That's tomorrow.
Yeah, that's tomorrow. Yeah, that's a question that atheists brings all the time. Yeah, go ahead.
What do you think about this Iran war that Israel started? What do you think development?
Again, there's politics.
No, but look.
We try not to.
There's an old saying, that whoever digs a hole, what the other person will fall into, he himself will fall into. Look, in the end, Allah is just, right? So Allah is giving these people the opportunity. We say that, He's giving them enough rope to hang themselves. That's what Allah is. Allah is giving them some leeway. So they become arrogant.
Again, we try to refrain from politics in this class because we just trying to focus on our representation of Islam, and then we want to make sure that we stick around here. Politics is very complicated, and we cannot understand it.
I wasn't actually referring in a political way, but in a more like
Look, these things are going to happen. Why is it going to happen? Because it's a trial for us. I mean, whatever happened so far, much worse is going to happen in the future. And there's going to come a point, according to Hadith of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, there's going to come a point when people will leave Islam in droves and droves, just from seeing all this. I personally know people, they become disillusioned when they saw Israel bombing Palestinian and children dying in Gaza. Why is Allah not helping them? What is wrong with God? But this is a test. This is a test for you and me and everyone else. How fast you hold to the deen of Allah. Even in Quran, look, prophets of God are pleading to Allah, when will the help of Allah will come? That's in Quran, by the way, if you read it. Prophets of Allah are pleading to Allah, when will help of Allah come? These are prophets of Allah. And who's got the most sabr and patience? These are the prophets of Allah. And they're pleading to Allah, when will help of Allah will come? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, look, gives them encouragement. Look, help of Allah is needed. Help of Allah is needed. So do not be disillusioned by all these things that are going on in this world. These are going to happen. Because Allah wants to separate the people with Iman with the hypocrites. These things are going to happen. So Allah is going to separate the people with Iman from the hypocrites. Whoever is going to hold fast Allah and His commandments, believe in the Day of Judgment, will not be in the loss.
Two things I want to say to you, inshallah, to you. First thing is that by design, this world is going to be a conflict between the good and the bad. If you look at the history of mankind, these two groups will always be there, the good and the bad. This is by default the design of this world. And the choice is going to be ours on which side are we going to be, where we're going to align ourselves. And then the hadith of Rasulullah, the time will come that practicing Islam is going to be holding like a burning charcoal on your hand.
So, in other words, you're saying you have a choice between right and wrong and bad.
Correct.
God giving your mind to think and ability to differentiate between right and wrong and bad.
Yeah. Yes. And then you ask Allah to help you. Because without Allah's help, we have nothing. The only thing we have is our Allah on our side. Asking Allah, pleading to Allah to help us to understand the good side, and we will align towards the good side. If we have good intentions, inshallah, Allah will help us to get in that direction, inshallah. Asking Allah for help. And second thing is remembering that Rasulullah have said that this is the time is going to come where they're going to be, for practicing Islam, it's going to be as hard as holding a burning charcoal on your hand.
There's one more hadith, a beautiful hadith. See, when the shaheed, when he gets martyred, and he opens his eyes in the paradise of heaven, and what he would see with his own eyes would be, and what Allah would give him, he would wish that he will go back, or he can go back into this world, into the world, and die over and over and over again. See that reward from Allah. So, do not be disillusioned by the things that are going on around us. This is nothing but a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
I guess one of the most critical that can make it for your continuity of faith.
Right.
And dying. That's all.
Yeah. So we only do what we're commanded to do. Obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, spread His word, and do your job. That's all Allah wants from us. He doesn't want us to get into political and do this and do that. Those are important things. Let people do their job. Who are good at it, let them do it. What you're good at it, you do.
Would you agree that the threat for Muslims or our children is not from Christianity, but from atheism?
Both Christianity and atheism.
I don't believe there is a threat from Christianity. I don't think anybody believes in Christianity.
There is. You trust me, there's a big thread. You know what? When priest said, look, you can go to your masjid, you can do your fasting and salah and hajj and zakat, whatever. You can do this. And we don't mind. But your second generation belongs to me. I'll take over them. Not second, the third. How much you going to avoid? All humans have a spiritual need. We all have a need to connect to God. If you're connected